Hello, everybody. Dr. Del Miller's here with Personal Fitness Consultants, and thanks for joining me. This week, I'm going to talk about heart-healthy oils. Are they good for you? I've been getting a lot of questions about these lately, and as usual, I write about things that people tend to ask a lot about. So if you've got a question, drop me an email or post me a question wherever you see this video or wherever you can find me, which I'm everywhere. My website, personalfitness.com, drdelmillers.com. I'm on Facebook at Dr. Del Millers, Twitter at Dr. Del Millers, YouTube at Dr. Del Millers. See, I'm around. Just search for Dr. Del Millers. You'll find me. So this week I'm going to talk about the awful truth about healthy oils. And here's the fact. Most healthy oils, quote unquote, I put those in quotation marks, are flat out bad news for your health. You see, the majority of these heart-healthy oils became popular as nothing more than cheap fat substitutes in the early days of the war on fat. However, decades later, we know better. We've done the research, we've seen the results of what's going on with people's health, so we know better. We know that real butter is a much healthier food product, and I say food product in quotation because not to be confused with food, right? A food product, then it's substitute margarine. But are any of these so-called heart-healthy vegetable oils actually heart-healthy? Or are they just completely refined, artificially produced products? In other words, crap. Let's talk about whole foods versus processed crap. When people ask me, what should I eat? I usually tell them, well, keep it simple. Eat whole foods. Whole foods are foods that are either unprocessed or minimally processed before consumption. Therefore, if something has to undergo 5 or more stages of processing before you eat it, guess what? There's really no nutritional value left in it, so it's not food. And keep that in mind as we go along here, because that's the standard. If something has to go through so many processes just to create it, it's no longer food. It's so degraded that it's worthless to your body, really, right? So outside of marketing hype, there's nothing to it. Whole foods, on the other hand, are the things you can dig up out of the ground, pick from a tree, or catch by land, air, or sea. Foods like rice and wheat must undergo minimal processing to remove the rice hull or to grind the wheat into flour. But anything beyond that minimal processing is no longer considered a whole food, as is the case with, white rice or white flour, all the white products. If you keep running brown rice through the huller machines to remove the outer bran layers, they do the same thing with the wheat to remove the bran. Then you put it through a polishing machine to make it smooth. It tastes better. And then you coat the grains with glucose to make it look shiny and taste better. You end up with white rice. And of course it tastes better, right? But guess what? White rice is not a whole food. It tastes better because it was engineered to taste better. So let's not make any mistake about that. We're not eating real food. You're comparing white rice to, brown rice. And of course, white rice tastes better because it's been engineered in a laboratory to taste better. They do everything they can to make it taste better. And of course, my kids like it better. I try to get them to develop a taste for brown rice by cooking it in certain ways that will taste good. But keep in mind the amount of processing that things go through, and is it really food anymore, okay? How are most vegetable oils made? Moving on, just keep in mind I give you a preview from, the processing of rice and wheat, how they go from the real thing to things that have minimal nutritional value. The same goes for oils. The problem with most vegetable oils is that they are too highly processed. Let's use healthy canola oil as an example, and I put healthy in quotation mark. You see, first you start with the rapeseed, which usually contains a deadly amount of uric acid. So what do? How do they get around that? They genetically modified a version of the rapeseed plant that they grow to produce canola oil. So again, you're starting with a genetically modified product. You're not told that, but most of the rapeseed plants that are grown for food are genetically modified, because the real rapeseed plant you can't eat. It's used to produce petroleum and stuff like that. And in order to do that, well, they treat this with a lot of pesticides. So you've got a couple other things working against you. Next, the rape seeds are heated at very high temperatures before they're crushed. They're then processed with hexane solvent to extract the oil. The oil is then further refined using acids to remove any gums or unwanted fats. It is then processed some more with chemicals to remove the color, and processed yet again with more chemicals to remove the nasty odors from all that processing. Now, does this sound like something that is food, or does this sound like something that is highly processed and that is created, right? There's a difference, and you got to know the difference. Take a look at this picture. This is the process of creating canola oil, and this looks more like something from a chemical factory than a food plant, doesn't it? But guess what? That's not all that happened. There is more, right? You can take this highly processed oil and hydrogenate it to make it solid by changing its chemical structure. You're creating something else, and you end up with margarine or some of the other fake butter substitutes you've got out there. Keep in mind that this is just one out of a dozen reasons why most healthy oils are extremely bad for your health. I don't even have time right now to get into, you've got the polyunsaturated fat issue, the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 issue, nor the issue with all the various additives, pesticides, and chemicals involved in the processing of these so-called healthy fats. So which of these oils are best for you? Well, remember my definition of whole foods? Whole foods are either unprocessed or minimally processed before consumption. So my favorite is really organic, cold-pressed, extra virgin olive oil. I like extra virgin olive oil because, this process involves crushing the olives to extract the oil via a mechanical process. A mechanical process like they used to do in the old days. Just crush them suckers and and get the oil out, instead of using chemicals and solvents the way they produce oils in commercial factories. Now, coconut oil is okay. Yes, it's high in saturated fat, but it's okay if you can find the real unrefined, cold-pressed oil. The problem is that most of the commercial varieties are no better than other highly refined vegetable oils. So those are the things that you have access to. Most of the coconut oil you find in the stores are just highly refined and really no better than the other terrible refined oils like peanut oil, safflower, soybean oil, all of those kinds of things. So here's the deal. I hope you're smelling what I'm cooking here, to borrow a phrase from The Rock. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? That was way back when. But I hope you're smelling what I'm cooking here, because the best oils to use, if you must use oil, should be cold press and extra virgin oil. The cold press process does not degrade the nature of the oil like high heat does. If you heat something at high temperatures, guess what? You're going to kill a heck of a lot of the nutrients. And the extra virgin oils are the first press oils. which means they are minimally processed. Let's take extra virgin. Let's take olive oil, for example. If you see something that says olive oil, it's not extra virgin. They can take the extra virgin olive oil and keep refining it more to get cheaper oils and cheaper oils and cheaper oils that they sell as commercial oils or they package as other things. Okay, so keep that in mind. So you want to look for the cold press extra virgin olive oils, and I would always go with organic to make sure that these things aren't grown with lots of pesticides and crap like that. What are the stuff that you should avoid at any cost? Avoid all the highly processed oils, like canola oil is highly processed. Soybean, forget about it. Safflower oil, sunflower, peanut, so-called vegetable oil. Avoid margarine and all the fake butter substitutes. They are so highly refined and manufactured, they are not food. It's better to go with the real stuff. Butter is made from a little cream. You skim the cream off the frickin' milk, you make butter in 5 minutes. You know, if you must eat it, eat some butter and forget about the margarine. You don't want fake fats, you want real fats. Here's the bottom line. Keep in mind that even something like extra virgin olive oil and all the other oils are not whole foods, people. They're not whole foods. They are food products. They're all processed, low-nutrient food products, and you should treat them as such. Remember, whole food sources of fat such as nuts, seeds, and avocados are absorbed much slower into your body and provide more nutrients. So guess what? If you're trying to lose weight or recover from disease, these are the things you want to be eating, not a whole lot of processed refined oils that have very little nutritional value. Don't make any mistake of thinking that they do, right? So if you must use oils, use them sparingly, right? Like I said, especially if you're trying to recover from health issues or you're trying to lose weight, because these things are empty calories. Right? Oils is just empty calories. If you want good fats, well, eat good fats. Nuts, seeds, avocado, other plant, the plant sources of fat. Those are good, healthy fats. Oils are empty calories. They have very little nutritional value. And don't be telling me about the Mediterranean diet. Oh, they eat a lot of olive oil. Well, guess what? Newsflash, that ain't the reason why it's a healthy diet, or that's not where they get all their health benefits from. They get all their health benefits from all the nuts and seeds and olives and fruits and vegetables and whole grains and all the other healthy things that they eat. So don't be telling me that the Mediterranean diet is healthy because they use a lot of olive oil. That's a small part of the big picture. So keep that in mind. You can cut out olive oil or any other oil from your diet and be healthy, be even healthier, because you'll probably be thinner. You'll lose weight if you're trying to lose weight easier. For some of my clients who are trying to lose a lot of weight, I cut out all these refined oils that are not helping them. People who are trying to recover from diabetes or heart disease, I cut out some of these so-called heart-healthy oils because they're not helping them. You want to eat whole foods, okay? That is where you get the benefits from. To be healthy is by eating whole foods. So some healthier habits to develop is try cooking without oil sometimes. Also, like I said, try replacing the oil in your salad dressing with things like vinegar, fruit, nuts, seeds, avocado. Okay? And finally, remember, whole foods, people, whole foods, and not refined food products like oils, is what promotes good health. Whole foods is what promotes good health. Things that are minimally processed, things that are either not processed or minimally processed. Remember my definition of food. If you can dig it up out of the ground, pick it from a tree, catch it by land, air, or sea, it's food. Some things need to be minimally processed, like you got to take the hull off the rice, or, you got to grind the wheat. There's a little bit of processing. But you can do all that in your backyard. You can do all that by hand. You can do that with 2 rocks. You don't need a factory to do all that, right? In the old days, they used to just beat the rice bushes against the wall, and same with the wheat. Just crack the frickin' wheat. That's why do you think cracked wheat? Where do you think that came from? So things need to be minimal processed. That's what whole foods are. So keep that in mind. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Del Millers, and as usual, if you have a question, please get a hold of me. I'll love to answer your questions. You can also get on the phone with me and have a conversation. I love talking with people, and I've been talking to a lot of people. That's where all these questions are coming from. So sign up for a health strategy call, personalfitness.com/health-strategy. You can get on the phone with me for an hour, no strings attached. Like I said, most of the people I talk to don't end up becoming clients because, we're not all compatible. I'm very expensive. I work with people who have big goals and who are ready to invest in themselves, invest in their health, and who are serious about getting results. If you're not serious about getting results and changing your health, transforming your body, transforming your life, I'm not your guy. But if you are, I am here to assist in any way I can. Again, Dr. Del Millers, thanks for joining me, and I will catch you on the other side. Take care.